Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to completely demystify cloud computing. If you're a focused learner gearing up for an exam, you are literally in the exact right place. My goal today is to help you absolutely ace those tests by mastering the whole shebang, from basic definitions all the way to those specific service and deployment models that professors just love to put on tests. So grab a notepad, get comfortable, and let's get started.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with an introduction to cloud computing, followed by its advantages and how it actually works. Then we'll compare cloud service models and deployment models. Finally, we'll wrap up with some FAQs and a final revision. Those comparison and revision sections are absolutely crucial for your exams, so stay sharp.
Section 1. Introduction to Cloud Computing. To make this abstract concept a bit more tangible, I want you to picture a real-world scenario from before the cloud even existed. Imagine you're an executive at a massive, growing corporation. It's your job to make sure every single employee has the hardware and software they need. In a traditional IT setup, just buying computers isn't enough. You're buying incredibly expensive software, managing individual licenses, and manually updating everything. Every new hire means more software and triple-checking licenses. It's stressful, it's insanely expensive, and honestly, it's a massive headache full of chaotic server rooms, routers, and constant maintenance.
But there is a totally liberating alternative, and it brings us to our core definition for today: cloud computing. The term cloud really just means a network, or the internet. So cloud computing is simply using remote servers on the internet to store, manage, and access data online, instead of relying on your local hard drive. Rather than installing a giant suite of software on every single computer, you literally just open one application, log into a web-based service, and boom, everything you need is right there.
And this beautifully illustrates the contrast. Before the cloud, you were dealing with a messy, expensive, chaotic server room filled with endless cables and hardware. But after, everything is clean and centralized. Your database storage, your servers, your entire computer network, it's all seamlessly hosted remotely, delivering services straight to your applications.
Section 2. Advantages and how it works.
So now that we know what it is, why is it such a game changer? Well, there are 8 major advantages you need to know. For data management, it's incredibly easy to back up and restore data, and you get virtually unlimited storage capacity. For accessibility, you get true global access, incredible device mobility, and improved collaboration. Just think of multiple people editing a single Google Doc at the exact same time. Finally, the business benefits. You get advanced data security, low maintenance costs, and APIs that enable a dynamic pay-per-use model, meaning you only pay for what you actually consume.
So how does the whole thing actually work? The mechanics basically break down into 2 main systems connected by the internet. First, you've got the front end. That's your computer and the app you're using to access the cloud. Second is the back end. This houses the actual servers and data storage systems. All of this is managed by a central server to keep things running smoothly. And it pulls this off using specific software called middleware, which effortlessly connects all those network computers so they can communicate seamlessly.
Section 3. Cloud Service Models Compared.
All right, heads up, we are now entering highly testable material. When you're trying to grasp these service models, it really helps to visualize them stacked as a pyramid. At the very base, we have IaaS. In the middle, PaaS, and right at the top, SaaS. The absolute best trick to memorizing these is just understanding exactly who each level is built for.
Let's anchor these into your memory right now. IaaS stands for Infrastructure as a Service. Here, the provider manages the physical hardware, but network architects use it to build out their own virtual machines and operating systems. Next up is PaaS, Platform as a Service. The provider handles the infrastructure in the runtime environments, giving application developers a ready-made platform to just sit down, write, and deploy code. Finally, SaaS, Software as a Service. This is where the provider manages absolutely everything. It provides complete web software for end users. Think of the email or streaming apps you use every single day. So quick recap: infrastructure for architects, platform for developers, software for end users. Got it?
Section 4. Cloud Deployment Models Compare. So, while service models dictate what kind of tools you're getting, deployment models dictate where and how those tools are hosted. The 4 main types of cloud are public, private, hybrid, and community. Public clouds are wide open to everyone. Private clouds are dedicated strictly to a single organization. A community cloud is shared by a specific group, like a network of hospitals. And a hybrid cloud? Well, that's exactly what it sounds like, a combination of a public and private cloud, letting an organization balance public accessibility with really tight private security.
You are definitely going to see these parameters on an exam, so pay close attention to the differences in access and ownership here. Public clouds are owned and hosted by service providers for the general public over the open internet. Private clouds, on the other hand, are owned by the enterprise itself, restricted to selected users and accessed securely via an internet or a VPN. Hybrid clouds give you the best of both worlds, and community clouds are owned and accessed collaboratively by specific community members. Take a mental snapshot of this.
Section 5. FAQs and Final Revision.
Let's see how all this builds into real-world application. We're going to kick off our final study session by running through a few really common questions. First up, how do vendors actually charge for these cloud services? Understanding the economic side is absolutely vital because it explains why businesses are flocking to the cloud so rapidly.
Vendors use what's called the pay-as-you-go model, or pay-as-you-go. It's completely based on dynamic usage. You only pay for exactly what you use, and you can terminate the services the very second you no longer need them. By outsourcing this infrastructure, vendors keep their hardware and operational costs remarkably low, and they pass those savings, often between 20 to 80%, right on down to the consumer. It's a win-win.
Next question, and it's a big one. Is the cloud actually safe for my personal information? Given the reality of massive, high-profile cyber attacks in recent years, this is a critical security question to ask.
The short answer is yes, provided the cloud vendors have specific third-party evaluated certifications in place. You really want to look for compliance standards like HIPAA, PCI DSS, and SOC. If a provider has these certifications, it means they've been rigorously audited by an independent third party and are officially deemed highly qualified to handle your sensitive, private data safely.
Okay, here's the ultimate disaster scenario question. What happens if the hardware at the provider's data center suddenly fails? Like, does the server physically break and you just lose everything?
Amazingly, no. The cloud utilizes this completely self-healing architecture. That means if any hardware node fails, the cloud servers running on those resources are instantaneously and automatically re-provisioned onto alternative hardware. And the absolute best part? It happens entirely without human intervention. You probably wouldn't even notice a blip.
So the crucial takeaway today is that you now have a complete, solid framework of cloud computing. We defined it as using remote, web-based servers over local hard drives. We ran through its top 8 advantages, from unlimited storage to those pay-per-use APIs. We broke down the service models, IaaS for architects, PaaS for developers, and SaaS for end users. And finally, we explored the 4 deployment models: public, private, hybrid, and community.
You are now fully equipped to tackle your exams. But before you go, I want to leave you with one final thought. Knowing that the cloud offers this incredible self-healing architecture and virtually endless storage, what will your digital footprint look like tomorrow? The possibilities are truly boundless. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy studying!